Part two. Sorry about that. A little difficulty here. Um, Prayer is recording. Part two. So let's go. We finished with Jeremiah 8. Let's go to about to go to Job 1. Let's go to First Peter 5. Let's read this before we go to Job 1, because this is something that, again, if you become like a tree that starts to lose fruit. All right, this is going into you losing understanding. That the shields start to come down. Start to become susceptible to different things, and these things that we're dealing with on a high level of understanding in spiritual warfare, these things are not dumb. Satan is going to be able to attack and see the problems that you have. He's going to go through the cracks that you're showing, through whoever it may be. It might be your own mind turning against you. It might be people around you. You have to be mindful of these different things. You do not want to be the example of Jeremiah 8. You don't want to be that. Losing fruit, losing leaves, all these different things the Most High has given you, He can easily take away. This is why you have to pay attention to how you're doing things, how you're conducting yourself, your surroundings, and what to watch out for, and continue to study to show yourself approved. That's what you have to do. All right. First Peter chapter 5 in verse 8. It says, "Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour." And let's go to Job 1. This is what's going to take place. This is what he's doing all the time. He doesn't have no time off. So this is the same mentality where you have when you're in the truth and you're studying, you're in the scriptures. You can't really take time off because you're going to get hit. And again, I've been in that situation where I haven't studied as much as I should. Just being honest. I'm sure we've all kind of been there, but that's not good. It's not a good quality to have. I'm getting better at it. All praise to the Most High, but this is something you don't want to sleep on, because remember, what we're seeing in your life you're living ain't gonna be around much longer. You have something else to look forward to, or you have something else, more judgment to look towards. So you don't want that, obviously. Job chapter 1 and verse 6. It says, "Now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them. And the Lord said unto Satan, Whence comest thou? Then Satan answered the Lord and said, From going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it." Again, this is what he does. This is what he does. And again, if you are not paying attention, you're going to get swept up, all right? Verse 8. "And the Lord said unto Satan, Hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and an upright man, one that feared God and escheweth evil? Then Satan answered the Lord and said, Doth Job fear God for naught?" Meaning, does he fear God for nothing? "Has not thou made an hedge about him and about his house, and about all that he hath on every side? Thou hast blessed the work of his hands, and his substance is increased in the land." Now, we're going to read something in chapter 2. This is how you have to understand the devil and the wiles that he's doing. You have to pay attention to it. It can be as subtle as they can be. All right. And over time, that's how they're going to get, because the basic stuff that you were easily falling to before is too obvious now. It's way too obvious. And again, that's why I said at the beginning, the way the Most High is doing different things throughout the earth, even though the warfare and stuff is going on, you have to consistently, that thing is matching up with how Israel is being delivered. So the closer we get, these struggles and these birth pains are not going to get easier. Okay, you have to understand that spirit of Christ that's on you. You have to be able to exercise that thing and be able to shoot down whatever is coming your way trying to attack you. But you have to have enough understanding to see it happen. Okay, so you can adjust. Now, Satan's crafty. Okay, remember, Satan came to Eve as a friend. All right, subtly. Satan comes to Job in despair, tough times. Satan came to Christ weak in a fast. Satan came to the chief priest through envy. Satan got to Job through covetousness. He's walking around trying to find out who has cracks in their armor. That's the way I can get in. Now, if you are like Psalms 1 and you're planted and you're day and night, you're meditating and you're understanding every single day is a way that I repent, he's still going to come at you because he came at Christ. I mean, the brother I was talking to, the brother the other day, the audacity to come after Christ. But at the end of the day, Christ understood how to withstand him. So he goes for a season and he comes back. But if he comes back in the season where your fruit is gone, you good luck, because you're not going to recognize Satan no more. It's just going to be, instead of it being Satan, she has a name now and she's beautiful. Instead of it being Satan, he's 6'2" and he's a strong man, and it's all that's the devil. Or it can be something as subtle as like it was to Eve. You're not going to die. Worry about that. Did she die? No. Eventually, it's going to take place, but he didn't say that. Crafty and good at the words, really good at the words, just like he came at Christ. Thou sayest this. Don't you understand? This is what it says in the law. More subtle as it goes over time, but if you are not equipped to deal with it, you're done. So, verse 10, hast thou not made an hedge about him and about his house and about all that he hath on every side? Thou hast blessed the work of his hands, and his substance is increased in the land. But put forth thine hand now, and touch all that he hath, and he will curse thee to thy face. Now, one way devil's going to come. Your substance and your possessions. I mentioned this in the old class we did about, you see how people start switching up when the COVID hit, when pandemic started putting pressure on the things that people are accustomed to in life. People start switching up. Most High says, I'll keep you safe. People trust in the mask. You see these different things happen, even though people have been in the truth for a long time. They really believe that the mask can deliver them. They believe that. They ain't know. Before the mask got here, they didn't know that their faith level was there. But the Most High did something to show it. Now you start to see it take place. Okay? One way, through possessions. Let's go to chapter 2, verse 3. And the Lord said unto Satan, hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and an upright man, one that feareth God and escheweth evil? And still he holdeth fast his integrity, although thou movest me against him to destroy him without cause. Because in chapter 1, a lot of his family gets wiped out. Okay, possessions start to get taken. Watch this. Verse 4. And Satan answered the Lord and said, skin for skin. Yea, all that a man hath will he give for his life. Now, another way. When you're not caring about, you're giving up, you've decided and settled on, I'm giving up this life for this truth. Ain't many more ways that somebody can deal with you. Just like you have them crazy Arabs ready to kill themselves for anything. What are you going to ransom them for? I mean, he ready to die. He kamikaze in it. You don't really have nothing to offer him to bring him off out of that plane. We know we're not that crazy, but at the end of the day, we're doing it for a righteous reason. Same way Christ did. You're not going to be able to manipulate a type of person like that because they're rooted. They understand what's going on. They see it. Another person that's wrapped up in possessions, like a position, I can easily use that to see if I can pervert your judgment in some way. You putting friendship over this? I can easily use you. If somebody else is doing something wicked, we're gonna use this against this person. That's how Satan looks, and that's how he moves. I'm gonna use this against this person. They might not be aware of it, but that, we read it in Luke 22, that darkness, that hour that has come in Christ's time is still here now. You're still dealing with those same level of spirits that have been around for a long time. And we read in Job 8, when we read about our foreparents, we only live, but our lives are but a shadow. We don't know a lot. We have to labor through things to be able to understand how things work, how we can overcome certain things. But the Most High left us this to be able to navigate and have a up or an advantage on those different things that we battle. But Satan will come this way. Satan will deal with brothers and sisters this way. And if you are not careful or you are not equipped to deal with these level of spirits, you're going to get taken. And you've seen that level of coming at Peter, that level of mortality, something that he dealt with. Okay. Peter struggled with faith. So you seeing different things. Those, you should look at yourself and put yourself in his shoes, okay? Now, one of the biggest things that Satan will come with is, let's go to Proverbs 28. And you see this. You see this all the time now. Proverbs 28. Proverbs 29, excuse me. Proverbs 29. Let's start at verse 25. The fear of man bringeth a snare. The fear of men brings a snare. It's a trap. Okay, the Lord said, don't fear man, neither what he can do to you. Okay. The fear of man bringeth a snare, but whoso putteth his trust in the Lord shall be safe. Okay. Yeah, go right back to the daggone mass and different things and stuff. All right. Verse 26. Many seek the ruler's favor, but every man's judgment cometh from the Lord. So Satan is moving around, and you see this a lot. He's moving around to see who he can get. This person is looking weak right now. This person seems to be overly concerned with this, and he's not paying attention to this weakness. This person's got so much pride on him that he's good in prophecy, but he's lacking in how to deal with his brothers and sisters. Let me cause a rift. You see these different things happen, and people get taken quickly. So many brothers and sisters right now are in the truth, and they are wrapped up in so much sin. Some of these people I don't even know face to face, but from the outside looking in, you can clearly see that they're demonstrating while they're in the midst of sin, and they don't see it and won't correct it. Because you can't correct it if you don't see it. Then again, it goes right back into the process of having a level of understanding to be a wise man and see when you slip. See what the words say and adjust versus you trying to use the bold print to adjust to how you see it. No. You have to be mindful of these different things, and so many people are not mindful of it. You see it. You have living examples of it. You just want to make sure that you don't get caught up like that. All right? Let's go to John chapter 7. Not much longer. John chapter 7. John chapter 7 and verse. You start at verse 1. Pay attention how these men speak. After these things, Jesus walked in Galilee, for he would not walk in Jewry, because the Jews sought to kill him. Now the Jews' feast of tabernacles was at hand. His brethren therefore said unto him, Depart hence, and go into Judea, that thy disciples also may see the works that thou doest. For there is no man that doeth anything in secret, and he himself seeketh to be known openly. If thou do these things, show thyself to the world. For neither did his brethren believe him. That's what the conclusion of it was. That sounds like something that's good. That's good counsel. But these people didn't believe in Christ. Verse 6. Then Jesus said unto them, My time is not yet come, but your time is always ready. Always. Christ had certain things he had to fulfill. Okay? The Son of Man must go as it is written. Same way we are, but we don't have to. There's certain things that we don't have to fulfill. Like we didn't have to go through what certain things that Christ went through. Not to that level of physical abuse. The stuff that we suffer because the world hated him first. We're following his example. We're going to go through it. But Christ is explaining to them, I have a set time when I have to go. Your time is always ready. Verse 7. The world cannot hate you, but me it hateth, because I testify of it that the works thereof are evil. Go ye up unto the feast. I go not up yet unto this feast, for my time is not yet full come. When he had said these words unto them, he abode still in Galilee. But when his brethren were gone up, then went he also up into the feast, not openly, but as it were in secret. Then the Jews sought him at the feast and said, Where is he? And there was much murmuring among the people concerning him, for some said, He is a good man. Others said, Nay, but he deceiveth the people. Howbeit, no man spake openly of him for the fear of the Jews. And you see this happening a lot. Now somebody can be like, well, you gotta use wisdom in certain circumstances. Well, you do. You want to be careful with that though, because any man doesn't confess Christ, Christ's not going to confess him to the Father. So you have to be careful with certain things that you do, obviously. But a lot of brothers and sisters, how they moved, they didn't. Stephanus spoke up. He got killed for it. But you have to have a level of commitment and belief in this, because a lot of people won't speak up because they have a fear of men on them. The Lord said you're in the midst of a snare there. You're caught up. You have to put your trust in the Most High always, because if the Most High decides that you're not going to be executed, you won't. There's nothing you can do. You can't prevent no death, and you can't shift or move anything that the Lord did not ordain. None you can do. You can confess that the Most High is real and his son did what he did and the accounts are true. That's what we're supposed to do. You can't be worrying about what man think and his opinion of this person, or this person don't want to do this, or they don't want to like stuff on Facebook. Come on, man. Like, the stuff that we're doing is not supposed to be for the glory of man anyway. So the stuff that you're doing is because you're trying to make sure that your election is right. Like, your calling is sure, that you're doing these things so the Most High is accepted. So you can be a Sirach 44, that these things are written. That's like me. I tried to move like Moses. I tried to do things like Christ. I try to follow these great examples to be making sure that I'm fit to get into the kingdom of heaven, not the glory of men. And a lot of people stuck like that. Satan will come in through that way. I can't use you as a judge. You treat this brother better than you treat this one just because he did something for you. You hate this sister because she said something 8 years ago that she asked for forgiveness for. You done passed 42 atonements and you still holding that against somebody. That's what Satan just moved, sit in the midst. Cool. The Pharisees were the same. Well, let's go to John 11. John 11 and verse 47. John 11 and verse 47. Then gathered the chief priests and the Pharisees a council, and said, What do we? For this man doeth many miracles. If we let him thus alone, all men will believe on him. And the Romans shall come and take away both our place in our nation. So again, a fear of men. You have the men fearing the Pharisees fearing the Romans, the Romans fearing fake gods. You have all these different things happening. We're supposed to be built on a much surer foundation than what these heathens are. You have something that is real. They're believing in things that are not even real. But we have an understanding of us being known that the Most High is not going to forget the works that we do. But since you're caught up worrying about what men think, the opinions of other people, Satan's in the midst, watching, and has his hand in your back, playing you like a fool. And you're going to get caught up, and you see it all the time because you have certain situations where I mentioned whatever chink in the armor it is, you might love somebody too much. I ain't talking about love like Christ laying his life down. I'm talking about you will change up law or change up something that's righteous because you care about somebody. That level of love, Satan will use that. He said that to and Peter asked him that. Different part of the Gospels about, don't say that you got to go get killed. And he said, Satan, get behind me. If you stop this motion, what does the rest of the nation have? What's Christ's purpose? The Most High looks like a liar. So you have these different things happening, and if you're not careful and really having great detail to look at what you're doing, you will get swept up. But Satan's been doing this for so long, and he has a good number of people that he's taken. He had one that he entered into Judas and took him amongst the 12 because of covetousness. Satan saw there's something he can have that's going to go in him, and I can get him to deviate from the path that he's on because you are not paying attention, or you love something and putting something over the Most High. The Lord's Satan's doing these different things and snatching people left and right, and you're seeing it right now. You have to be careful. All right, Satan will come in any type of form: family, friends, spouse, whatever it may be. Let's go to. Let's show y'all this. Let's go to Matthew 12. Remember I said in Remember I said in Psalms 1 and 4, it'll come back around about the chaff being taken away in the wind. All right, let's go to Matthew 12. I'm going to read this, and there's another precept for this. Matthew chapter 12, verse 1. At that time, Jesus went on the Sabbath day through the corn, and his disciples were an hungered, and began to pluck the ears of corn and to eat. But when the Pharisees saw it, they said unto him, Behold, thy disciples do that which is not lawful to do upon the Sabbath day. Now you have a lot of different pieces moving here. I want to focus on one of them. Even though people have read this before, this is prophetic in nature. The demonstration of what's going on. Watch this. Go to Luke chapter 6. Yeah. Luke chapter 6, verse 1. And it came to pass on the second Sabbath after the first, that he went through the cornfields, and his disciples plucked the ears of corn, and did eat, rubbing them in their hands. Verse 2, and certain of the Pharisees said unto them, Why do ye that which is not lawful to do on the Sabbath days? Again, I only want to focus on one part of this. The idea of going through the field and plucking, this is not corn like maize, okay? This isn't corn on the cob. This is talking about grain, okay? Grain, wheat, that's what it's talking about. For precept, let's go to John chapter 12. John chapter 12, verse 24. Verily, verily, I say unto you, except a corn of wheat fall into the ground and die, it abideth alone. But if it die, it bringeth forth much fruit. I don't want to go too much on the topic either, but you read something like this in different grain about sowing with a different body coming in 1 Corinthians 15. It's not the point. The point is, if you're looking at what's happening, they're walking through the field and they're snatching grain off. Remember, that's not maize, corn. Okay, you can look at Psalm 78 and 24. You can match it up with Exodus 16. You can match it up with Sirach 5. There's a lot of different precepts for this. I don't want to go through all of them. But the reason why I mention that is because if you're watching what they're doing, they're rubbing they're rubbing it together in their hands. If you take that wheat, if you take that grain and you rub it together, what's happening? You're separating the wheat from the chaff. You read as you're seeing these different things happen. The Pharisees immediately go into, because Satan been dealing with the Pharisees, immediately because they had envy. Immediately they go into attack mode. And they're trying to vex another brother and sister so much. Like you read in Revelations about accuser of the brethren. The Pharisees did this on a level constantly, to the point where they wanted and they tried and they got Christ killed. Christ gave up his life, but you know what I mean. So you're seeing this prophetically. They're snatching things off, and it's showing you an example of an illustration of rubbing in your hands together to get the chaff off and the seeds there. Okay. John the Baptist gave an example of this. Let's go back to Matthew 3. Yeah, Matthew chapter 3, I'll start at verse 11. I indeed baptize you with water unto repentance, but he that cometh after me is mightier than I, whose shoes I am not worthy to bear. He shall baptize you with the Holy Ghost and with fire, whose fan is in his hand, and he will thoroughly purge his floor, and gather his wheat into the garner, but he will burn up the chaff with unquenchable fire. Once again, these illustrations, if you're paying attention, you understand how these different things, and Most High has used this example multiple times. I don't know how many times through the scriptures to give us a better understanding of different things. Understanding offerings and different things that happen, how these things are utilized. You see these different things and they're written, and they're understanding what the disciples, you see them doing, just the illustration of them. You see that, just a high level example of separating wheat from the chaff. And the ones that are gathered, the wheat, that's the ones that's going to be used and brought into the garner or the barn. You read that in Job. I think you read that in Habakkuk, Haggai too, I think. You read these also in these places too. This wheat, these things are being separated. You know, when you read in like Matthew chapter 13, where the Lord actually runs down the parable of them coming, the angels coming to reap the harvest. That chaff is being separated from the wheat. The wheat's going to be collected, and they're the ones that's going to be the fruit thereof. Or when it talks about the figs, wheat's also referred to that as well as fruit. The chaff is going to be separated. They're blown away in the wind. That goes right back to Psalms 1 and 4. That goes back to Ephesians 4 and 14, carried away in the wind. These doctrines, these different things, he's showing you these examples of the separation that's been happening. And Satan's used to do these different things. To be able to separate them, that understanding be lacking, Satan steps in and takes over. And he's walking throughout the earth, snatching people left and right. And people are falling. People are falling left and right. You have to take heed to your walk in your spirit, that you be not overcome, and you can endure in the Most High's strength that he's been given to you, that you can last through these trials and these temptations. As long as you stick in by the word, as long as you believe the words that the Most High has given you, you understand that these things are but a period and a flash in the pan. They're but for a season. But make sure when the season comes that you have fruit. You have enough to endure. You have enough understanding to be able to make it through these different things. Okay. Ephesians chapter 6. Ephesians chapter 6 and verse 12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore take you unto the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all, to stand. Okay, I'm going to jump down to verse 18. This is lost on a lot of people. Praying always with prayer and supplication in the Spirit, and watching thereunto with all perseverance and supplication for all things. And for me, that utterance may be given unto me, that I may open my mouth boldly to make known the mystery of the gospel. This is something that's lost too. You still have, and I get it, because some people seem like, no, I don't want to say that. That's bad. It's bad to put it that way. I'll say it this way. There's some people that do things that seem like they don't even want prayer. They seem like so wrapped up in whatever they're doing. They can be so evil. They can be so manipulative. They seem like they don't even really want the prayer. But don't forget, like you read in 1 Samuel 12 at the end of the back half of it, the whole chapter Samuel's going into telling the people, asking them what he did wrong to them. And they didn't have an account of it. He didn't do anything. He's a righteous man. But he says at the end of the chapter, make sure that you are not falling into sin and not praying for your people. You have to. Brothers and sisters go through a lot of different things, and we all know, man, having compassion and mercy for your fellow brothers and sisters. You've been in this walk. You know this is not easy. Satan is crafty. He's a formidable opponent. You've been in situations where you might have got caught up before. Have that same compassion for another brother and sister. Pray for him. Don't be caught up in it, because, again, that Satan can come through them, whoever you might be praying for. Don't get caught up in the madness. Okay, send up prayers for them. But there is times where you have to dust your feet. You got to let it go. You can't control it anyway. Their salvation is in the hands of the Lord, not you. Okay, so you not the person that's supposed to be the Captain Save-A-Lot to go and be like, well, I'm going to do what I can. No, you got help them as best you can. But there's a point where you do reach and you should realize it with enough wisdom to be like, I can't do anymore. I can't. I've done what I can. Pray that the Most High is going to be able to have them to rebound and come back to what, as it is written on these pages. Okay, don't forget to send up prayers for the people, man. Don't forget to do that, because I'm sure as that same mercy you extend to somebody, it's gonna come back around to you. So keep that in mind. Okay, let's go back and end where we began. Luke chapter 22. Luke chapter 22 and verse 28. Ye are they which have continued with me in my temptations, and I appoint unto you a kingdom, as my Father has appointed unto me, that ye may eat and drink at my table in my kingdom, and sit on thrones judging the 12 tribes of Israel. And the Lord said, Simon, Simon, behold, Satan have desired to have you, that he may sift you as wheat, to separate you. Just like you see it in the sifter, you see people doing that. You can read in Sirach 5 where it talks about winnowing. If you look up winnowing, it's separating the seed from the casing of it, to throw it away, to blow away in the wind, and the seed remains. Obviously, you know what Satan's trying to do. He wants Peter to blow away like the chaff, okay? Satan have desired to have you, that he may sift you as wheat, and that's very powerful for the Lord to say that, okay? This is also powerful. Verse 32, but I have prayed for thee, that thy faith fail not, and when thou art converted, strengthen thy brethren, okay? Verse 33, he said unto him, Lord, I am ready to go with thee, both into prison and to death. And he said, I tell thee, Peter, the cock shall not crow this day, before that thou thrice deny that thou knowest me. I'm sure when Peter said that, he believed it. He still believes it. Maybe that's a bad way to put it, but I think you understand what I'm saying. But when the time comes, situations can happen, and you start to have a realization is now, man, I'm not as strong as I thought I was, okay? Don't let that discourage you, because all of us fall short of the glory. What is important is that you are always seeking after it to do better, to pick yourself up and to continue to do better, to continue to strive in righteousness. But Satan has desired to have a lot of us, okay? Some of it, Satan has gotten a lot of us. Send up prayers that this don't happen. The Lord prayed for Peter that he can't take you, even though he wanted you. I'm not going to allow him to take you out of my hand. That's extremely powerful, because even though you're looking at these high-level examples of our foreparents, the same ones the Lord decided to build the church on, or to have written in these books, a lot of these men have committed trespasses against the Lord. A lot of these men didn't believe that they were equipped to do the job that the Lord has called them to do. So it's not something that should, that's not something that should hit you and you just feel like, oh, I'm so out of place. It's normal. I mean, it kind of sucks, but this is the condition of the battle. So if you have an understanding of how these things work, be humble, that the Most High may be able to lift you up in that time, and you have enough mental fortitude to be able to battle through whatever Satan's coming your way. But take heed that you are reading, that you are studying, so you can recognize these things as they come across. Okay, so you can make the proper adjustments and understand, I can defeat this thing because I'm seeing it before it's trying to conquer me. That's a big part of this step in the truth. All right, so I pray that made sense. I pray that it helped brothers and sisters, and let it I pray it resonates with brothers and sisters to be able to help you along the way to continue to strive in righteousness. All right. Continue to send up prayers for brothers and sisters. Lord's will, next week we'll be back at it. Lord's will. Happy Sabbath, everybody. Shalom, y'all. Most High in Christ bless. All right.